Jess, can I ask you about yesterday's big NBA story? I argued that it was Jason Tatum. That was a massive story, but a lot of people picked, we put this on the poll, and it was Nico securing the number one pick. And this was great.
I do want to talk about this. Yes, tell me what you think.
My whole takeaway is I don't know why the NBA keeps doing this with this lottery, because their whole argument for it is to prevent tanking. It doesn't do that. And all it leaves them with, granted, there's theater, and they probably love the attention that it got yesterday, but you have something that doesn't stop what it's designed to stop, and it just leaves a whole bunch of NBA fans saying this is rigged. So I'm very confused as to what the benefits are of this thing.
I'm sort of confused about So I was one of those people that when I found out the Mavericks won, I was like, it's rigged. And then I thought about it and I was like, but why? So I'm sort of confused now what the argument is for why the NBA would rig it so that the Mavericks would get the number one
Because apparently
pick.
If you help Los Angeles,
Chris Paul,
you get rewarded.
Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic.
So they just decided though, like in the last few weeks when the Mavericks became eligible to be in the lottery and have, I guess, like that. When did they decide to do this?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter. They could have decided the morning of. Like they decided to rig it.
It does matter because it's a bad conspiracy theory because I don't understand it.
Right. That's precisely all conspiracy theories that gain traction. Apparently, like they tend to defy logic.
Look, I don't want to divert audiences elsewhere, but if you want to do conspiracy theory talk, Basketball Illuminati has you covered. We covered this exhaustively, and it's not the lazy, it's because they traded Luka. Like, we've got math involved. We've got numbers. You don't want to miss a thrilling new episode of Basketball Illuminati wherever you get podcasts.
I mean, I do want to get into it, though, because I was listening to Tom on Bomani's podcast earlier, and also I was listening to, he had Zach Lowe on also, and Zach Lowe was talking about sort of the injury stuff in the NBA. Like it's almost a certainty that you're going to have some sort of injury like this now. And there's a number of reasons why perhaps that's the case. And maybe it comes back to workload and youth sports especially. And I think that that's really interesting too. But back to, your point. So can you just sort of break down the actual conspiracy and why it would make any sense for the NBA to rig the draft lottery for Dallas?
Well, this is the easy explanation why it's not rigged, right? Is
prison.
Yes, that's why. They're in the lottery happens in a back room, right? Like what we see on TV, that's not the lottery. That's the lottery results that they create a TV show around, right? The actual lottery happens in a back room, and there's a representative from every team that's in the lottery. There's Ernst & Young who are doing the accounting, and then there's NBA security, and then there are also media members there.
It's like a half dozen journalists.
Yeah, like Ben Golliver, for instance,
people
is
like
always
me,
back
yeah.
there. Yeah, well, not people like you, actual journalists. So anyways.
Right, and Golliver also wrote in his story, he had a quote from a Mavs executive who was like, I can't believe that this happened. Like, I've been working on the draft lottery in this process and been dealing with conspiracy theories my whole career. And now, like, basically there's the subject of one. But go on, Amin.
One of the prevailing theories, Amin, is you have a brand new owner that just paid $3.5 billion for this franchise and immediately nuked it as one of the first actions of their ownership reign. So it's kind of like a make good.
Well, see, okay, so by the way, the exec you're talking about is Rick Welts. Rick Welts, I work with him in Phoenix. Rick Welts is the guy that invented All-Star Weekend. Rick Welts was instrumental in the invention of USA Basketball. He was supposed to be, at one point, they were saying he was going to be the next commissioner of the NBA. So shout out to Rick Welts. But yeah, he's someone who's had to deal with conspiracy theories when he worked in the NBA all the time, and now he's on the opposite end of it. But to finish what I was saying about that room, like I said, the people were in there, and then the way it works is there are 1,001 different combinations. 1,001. So when they say someone has a 14% chance, really what they mean is there are 140 different combinations that are pre-assigned, right? And then you just wait and see what balls come up. We've had years where people I believe there's a year where the Spurs kept winning it, right? Like they won the top 3 picks.
Because they draw number one first.
Yes.
You should be allowed to do that, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. You get all
Just
the
have
picks.
the lottery be like all one team.
I'm on the Ernst & Young Wikipedia page, and there's an entire section dedicated to accounting scandals, audit practices, exam cheating by audit professionals, investment banking, sexist training program.
You don't think they're risking their firm
one.
over Cooper Flag?
I'm saying it seems as though this firm has a sordid history in which it seems as though in the past there's been malfeasances.
Yeah, I would say that this is one of their higher profile accounts, and I'd say that they would risk it for that, given that they have this in their past.
Like, and I would say I'm still waiting for an explanation why this would be worth rigging for the Mavericks. Please, Amin.
The reality is, this is like when people say, oh, the only reason why X team won was because everyone got injured. You should put an asterisk on it. And the reality is, when you go through the history of the NBA, every champion has an asterisk. Same thing here. Any team that would have won, we would have been like, oh, of course. If San Antonio had won, we would be like, oh, of course. They always win. If Philly had won, like, oh, of course. They're trying to like get them because of
there was a moment where the top 4 teams that were vying for the number 1 overall pick, everybody outside of Charlotte, I was like, this is rigged.
Right. 3 of the 4 were like interesting scenarios.
Yeah, I was like, San Antonio, that's rigged. Philly, definitely rigged. And then it went to like one of the most rigged options.
I mean, if the NBA wanted to interfere with Dallas, wouldn't they just try to interfere to get Nico fired because he's a bad executive? And that
he just got them the number 1 overall pick. What are you doing?
He didn't do anything.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. He's traded a superstar to LA. That's how you do it.
He agreed to follow the league's. He agreed to follow the league's orders to send Luka to LA.
Called one team.
See, now you've lost me again. It's the best conspiracies are the simplest, have the simplest premise, I think. This one is a little too convoluted for me.
Well, didn't you see the video of Adam Silver at Duke and one of the graduates yelled at him, Adam, help out my Mavs. We're going through it right now. And he looked at him and he smiled and kept walking. I mean, smoking gun? Much?
Then he winked and like pointed at him, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I like how LeBron, remember when he was on McAfee, and LeBron
Billy Wednesday.
LeBron continues insinuating, that the draft is rigged. And LeBron, Amin just explained, there's 1,001 different combinations. They draw 4 balls that all have numbers on it. And whatever that combination is, you look at a big booklet, I got it, bingo. And LeBron on McAfee talking about how the draft lotteries are, when the ball pops out and says Cleveland, no clue how it works.
Zaz, this is the plight of so many NBA players that they don't know about how this league works. Not how the salary cap works. Yep. Not how trades work. Not how the draft lottery works. Not how polls work. Yep. Not how awards work, right? They don't know. Like, LeBron, I guarantee you, when he was like on all the guys who said, this guy was overrated, he thought probably fans voted that. He didn't even realize it was players. By the way, Rachel Nichols did the math.
No, definitely media people, because media people are lame.
Right.
It's the media that voted
but
overrated.
This is my favorite thing. Rachel Nichols did the math. It was like what the percentage of people who said Tyrese Halliburton was overrated, and then how many players responded in the poll.
Yeah.
Comes out to 13 guys.
In the whole league.
13 NBA players said he was overrated. That's what we've been running with this whole time.
And one of them was definitely LeBron.
One of them absolutely was LeBron. Jessica, come on. Come on. I'm just trying to figure out who did this, right? Him in the hot dog costume right there.
Okay, I do want to ask you another question, though. How screwed are the Celtics moving forward? Because I know, they obviously still have a lot of talent left on that team, but with the new CBA and Tatum being out probably for all of next season, if I had to guess, he's obviously still really young. Like, what do you expect them to do now?
So they already, before the injury, were dealing with, what are they going to do? Because the money is incredibly high, and then they got new ownership, right? So those things were already coming in. Now you got Tatum is out. Tatum's going to be out for an entire year. This is the recovery time for a ruptured Achilles. So how good are they going to be as is? I guess we'll get a taste of that tonight. We'll see what it looks like when Tatum isn't out there. But there was already whispers that they're going to have to start making some moves. Maybe those whispers turn into yells and screams. Wailing.